Yeah, but still these days, I mean, we usually cataloging is just enough to identify it so that it's not going to get lost. It's not usually identifying every element that's on it to the species level.
Right.
So again, if I was cataloging this today, if I knew there was somebody on staff who might be interested in taking a look at it, I might, because this is sort of unusual. I might ask somebody if they could figure out, somebody from mammals or something, could figure out what the heck is that on there. But if it was just, yet another a wooden, typical wooden flute, probably wouldn't go to that much trouble for it, because that's usually something that if the curator wants to do that, fine, but when we're doing our basic stuff, we're not doing that.
It's not as important.
Well, it is, but we've got 3 million artifacts, so,
collecting for 100
important.
years. Depends on who you talk to, really.
So that's why we try, if possible, to get people to donate collections that have a lot of information already.
Trust me, I will be changing the way I do that.
Because
around the turn of the century, I'm sure people were not really considering conservation techniques.
no, or at least their idea of conservation is so radically different from ours that it's really not. Can't really talk. I'm not talking the same language.
It's too bad. That's unusual.
Well, they look like, and this is why one of them was called either Sioux or Chippewa, because if they're Sioux, they're Eastern Sioux who live very close to the Chippewa.
Ah.
So they have the Eastern, if they're Sioux, they're Eastern Sioux. But there's, that area, the Eastern Sioux, Chippewa, sometimes it's really hard to tell them apart and they influence each other, and so who knows?
Chippewa are notorious flute players, flute makers as well.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell what's going on. I mean, they're coming from different collections, different times that we got them. They're all being called Sioux. If they are Sioux, though, like I said, it would be Eastern Sioux, and they're living right up together on the edge of with the Chippewa.
It's very hard to tell the difference when it's that close, because there's a lot of intermarriage going on.
Exactly, and sometimes living on the same reservations too. So.
That's cool.
we got a lot of stuff from Moose Factory.
Do you ever get over to the West Coast much?
No, other than California, because I have in-laws who live there. My brother-in-law and his wife live in California.
I was looking at your poster on Tlingit, on a Tlingit legend.
Yeah, people give us posters, which is nice to sort of make it look a little bit less white, sterile cabinets.
No kidding.
Accurately date that way. Even though it's, over probably 100 years old, but
I saw it. Just not in time. Maybe you could hold that up. I'm afraid I'm gonna. Actually, I'm just gonna try and get a picture of right where your finger's at. There's a lot of. You know, another set of information that's becoming more and more popular is the idea of a tune flute. Flute that's been tuned to a specific key as opposed to a non-tuned flute. And now commercial flutes are being sold. People telling you whether or not they've been tuned to a specific key, depending on where the tone holes are set.
Okay. Yeah, think I have seen that. I mean, you know, listed that things for sale identified.
Maybe you could hold this.
Yeah. You were trying to get that tag, right?
Yeah. The tag is
Turned or something.
there. Now this. So at what point do you not allow people to come in and handle these anymore?
Well, I mean, we have some things that basically are, you know, in boxes or on mounts in such a way that you can look at it,
But not
but
pick it up.
not pick it up. And they'll usually have big notes on them saying, "Don't touch this." I mean, they would get touched if somebody wanted to try to exhibit it.
The wood splits is very interesting because sometimes it'll split with the grain, sometimes it won't.